In a distant kingdom, there was a princess named Psyche, whose beauty shone brighter than the sun. Her radiance captivated all who gazed upon her, so much so that the goddess of love, Aphrodite, grew envious. People abandoned their worship of Aphrodite to praise the mortal princess, and this infuriated the goddess. She decided to punish Psyche in the cruelest way possible. But Aphrodite's revenge was not immediate. Instead, she sent her son, Eros, the god of love, to make Psyche fall in love with the most hideous creature on earth. Eros, bow in hand, descended to fulfill his mother's command. But when he gazed upon Psyche, a strange thing happened. The god of love, himself, fell in love with her at first sight. This was not part of the plan. Conflicted, Eros could not bring himself to follow through with his mother's orders. Instead, he kept his distance, quietly watching over Psyche, torn between his duty and his heart. Psyche, unaware of the god who watched her from the shadows, lived a life of loneliness, her beauty an unreachable mystery to all who sought her hand. Though many came to admire her, none dared to love her, until one fateful day, the Oracle of Delphi spoke a dark prophecy. The oracle declared that Psyche was destined to marry not a man, but a terrible monster, a creature so fearsome that even the gods themselves quaked in fear. The prophecy struck terror into Psyche's heart. Her father, desperate, left her alone on a desolate mountaintop, as the oracle had instructed. He could not bear to see his daughter suffer, yet he did as the prophecy demanded. As Psyche stood trembling on the mountain, waiting for the monster to claim her, the unexpected happened. A soft breeze swept through the air, as gentle as a lover's touch. The west wind, Zephyrus, lifted her from the mountaintop and carried her into the air. When the wind finally set her down, she found herself at the entrance of a magnificent palace, unlike any mortal home. Inside, the halls were bathed in gold, the air rich with the sweet fragrance of ambrosia. Unseen servants tended to her every need, and mysterious voices whispered words of welcome. Psyche was alone, yet surrounded by luxury. Still, there was a void in her heart, a question that haunted her. Where was the monster? That night, a figure appeared. His voice was soft and warm, comforting in the silence of the dark. He told her, "Do not fear me. I am your husband, and I will love you like no other. But never try to see me, for only trust will bind us." Psyche was bewildered, but strangely reassured. His words soothed her, and soon she came to trust him deeply. Night after night, he came to her, a shadow in the darkness. Their love grew with each secret meeting, each whispered promise. Though Psyche never saw his face, she began to fall deeply in love. But with love came doubt. Her sisters, who had married noble princes, came to visit the palace, and they couldn't help but question the nature of Psyche's husband. "How can you live with a man you cannot see?" they asked. "What is he hiding from you?" Their words planted a seed of suspicion in Psyche's heart. Was he truly a man or a monster, as the oracle had foretold? The more she thought about it, the more the question consumed her. Finally, she made up her mind. She would uncover the truth. That very night, as her mysterious husband lay asleep beside her, Psyche lit an oil lamp. Her hands trembled as she slowly lifted it, and for the first time, she saw him. But he was not a monster. What she saw in the flickering light was a god of incomparable beauty, with wings like those of a dove and eyes that shimmered with the glow of the stars. It was Eros, the god of love, her husband, the one who had come to her in darkness. In a moment of shock and awe, Psyche dropped the lamp. The hot oil spilled onto Eros' shoulder, and he awoke with a sharp cry of pain. His gaze met hers, filled with hurt and betrayal. "Why did you not trust me, Psyche?" he asked, his voice a mixture of sorrow and anger. "I loved you, and you failed me." Eros fled into the night, leaving Psyche alone in the palace, broken and filled with regret. But it wasn't just guilt that haunted her. It was love. She could not live without him. Determined to win him back, Psyche set off on a perilous journey, facing impossible tasks set by Aphrodite, the vengeful mother who had tried to destroy her. Aphrodite demanded that Psyche separate a pile of mixed grains before dusk, retrieve golden wool from wild rams, and even venture to the underworld itself to collect a box of beauty from Persephone, the queen of the dead. With the help of kind creatures and spirits who saw her pure heart, Psyche completed each task. Yet, her greatest test was still to come. On her journey back from the underworld, Psyche was overcome by a burning curiosity. She opened the box, hoping to find the beauty it promised. Instead, she was overcome by a deep sleep that consumed her entire body. Back at the palace, Eros discovered her plight. His heart shattered at the sight of the woman he loved, unconscious, trapped in the very sleep he had once feared. No longer willing to live without her, he flew to Psyche's side, and with a tender kiss, he broke the spell. It was then that Eros carried her to Mount Olympus, the home of the gods. There, he pleaded with Zeus to grant Psyche immortality, so they could be together forever. Seeing the strength of their love, Zeus granted the request, and Psyche was transformed into an immortal goddess. At last, they were united. Psyche and Eros, two souls bound together by love and trust, proved that even the darkest of trials could not tear them apart. Together, they ascended to the heavens, their love celebrated by both gods and mortals, shining brightly in the stars. And so they lived forever, their love story etched into the fabric of the universe.